So yeah, as the title says, I gained 100 pounds when I was pregnant. It wasn't indulgency, it wasn't me being lazy and eating whatever I want. I wish that were the case. I got pregnant about 3 months after I got married, and for my wedding day I wanted to be in the best shape of my life. I was the thinnest I've ever been. I was, I think, 120, which is about 8.5 stone, and I'm 5'6", and just for reference. I'd been going to the gym and I'd been eating a good diet and things. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was planning to continue that healthy journey and continue going on walks and hikes, and I was kind of thinking, you know, I'm not going to be one of those people that put on a lot of weight. You know, if I have a few cravings, I'll eat certain foods, but I won't indulge now. I won't go mad. Oh God, if only I had known what was to come. Basically, I took a pregnancy test, and a few days later I woke up with some nausea, and I was like, okay, this is morning sickness. Nothing could really stop the nausea, but I was like, okay, well, that's pregnancy, that's a part. A lot of people suffer from this, so it's unfortunately what I have to deal with. And then about a week later, when I was about 7 weeks pregnant, I woke up and I was in agony. I couldn't open my eyes, I couldn't, just breathing made me sick. I couldn't move. It hit me like a ton of bricks. It was, I can't explain how bad this nausea was, but I think my husband, he either turned over or he opened a curtain, something like so natural and small, but the movement and the light, whatever it was, I just turned and I just threw up everything, and I didn't stop throwing up. I didn't stop throwing up for about, well, for 9 months. I didn't stop throwing up, but after about a week, we went to the doctor and he gave me medication. I had Hyperemesis Gravidarum. A lot of people know it from Kate Middleton. That's her illness. So I got medication. That kind of helped. I mean, it brought my vomiting from 40 times a day to 20 times a day. We were supposed to go on honeymoon. We had it all booked. We were planning a trip to the Caribbean. My first thought when I found out I was pregnant was, oh, I won't be able to drink alcohol. What a pity. I can't have that glass of champagne on our honeymoon. Oh well. I had no idea how sick I was going to be. The morning we were supposed to be driving to the airport, I couldn't even lift my head off the pillow. There was no way I could get in a car, no way I could get on a plane. I spent the whole day vomiting and crying, and it was horrible. But you know, when you're that sick, you're not like going, oh, I could be doing this or I could be doing that. All you can think about is survival. It's just about getting through minute by minute. You're not thinking about the big things that you're missing out on in life, which leads to a lot of women having PTSD after they've had Hyperemesis Gravidarum. I suffered from it. But anyway, that is the main reason that I put on 100 pounds, because all you can think of is stopping the nausea. One thing that would help my nausea was if I had kind of a full stomach, which is impossible when you're throwing up everything that's passing your lips. But I found that I could eat bread, and I could keep bread down, and then I could keep pizza down, and then I could keep pasta down. I tried eating fruit, and I tried eating veg, and I tried being healthy. I swear to God, as soon as anything healthy passed my lips, I would throw up. And it wasn't just like, okay, I throw up what I just ate. It was, I throw up that, and then I'm so sick from just tasting that I throw up everything in my stomach. And this episode will last 2 or 3 hours where I'm lying on the bathroom floor heaving. I had to just accept, okay, eat what I can. I can keep down bread, I can keep down pizza, I can keep down pasta. I think there were a few others. I think like crisps, anything bad, anything unhealthy that I would never normally eat, I was just shoving it down my throat. I remember one point just sitting on my bed with a loaf of bread and eating slice by slice, and just it was disgusting. It was dry and I was so dehydrated, so the dry bread just made me feel worse. But I just had to get enough food in my stomach to try and alleviate some of the nausea, and thinking, this is like torture, like being forced to eat horrible food that you know you're gonna gain so much weight on, but you'll do anything to stop the nausea. So on top of all the bad food I was eating, I also couldn't exercise, so I couldn't try and keep the weight off. I was pretty much bedridden for the entire 9 months. I could probably count on both hands the amount of times I left the house. There was none of that walks and hikes and exercising and swimming that I had planned. That all went out the window. When my friends were noticing my weight gain, they were kind of saying, yeah, well, I gained 50 pounds, so don't worry. Or I know a girl that gained 60 pounds. But no one expected me to gain 100 pounds. I'd never heard of anyone that gained 100 pounds. When I first was diagnosed with hyperemesis, the doctors were promising me it'll go away at 12 weeks. It usually only lasts the first trimester. And then when I got to 12 weeks and I was still bad, okay, well, 14 weeks, and then 16 weeks, and then 20 weeks. And then eventually they just had to say, okay, unfortunately, in rare cases, it does last the whole 9 months. It looks like that's the way it's going, so I had to accept that. I just had to try and get through it. So apart from all the bad foods I was eating, so I was eating bread. And I'm the type of person that in my normal life, if I just look at bread, I gain a pound. Like, bread does not suit me at all. I've always put on weight with bread, so I don't eat bread. I don't usually eat bread or really any carbs, pasta or pizza. Like, of course, I indulge every now and then, but I wouldn't be eating that stuff every day just because it doesn't suit me. So eating that stuff when I wouldn't normally eat it, it just made me put on so much weight. But apart from eating all those bad foods, it wasn't like I was just eating during the day. I was eating throughout the entire day and throughout the entire night. Like, on my bedside table, I had to have like a loaf of bread and a pack of digestive biscuits at all time, and I just had to keep eating because the second that my stomach was empty, I would throw up. And for the first half of my pregnancy, I couldn't drink water. So I was so dehydrated and I had to go into hospital and get IV fluids. I found though that the one thing I could keep down was Coke. I don't like Coke. I hate Coke. I hate the taste of Coke. I never drink Coke in my life. But that was all I could keep down. So the weight just piled on. I practically doubled in size because I was 120 pounds when I started and I gained over 100 pounds by the end of the pregnancy. Like, that's 4/5 of my body weight that I put on, which is practically double. My whole body changed. Even my face changed. Like, my friends that saw me after a few months were like shocked at like how different I looked in total. Obviously I couldn't fit any of my normal clothes, but I couldn't even fit like my boots. Like, I remember I had a pair of knee-high boots and I couldn't even zip them up over the calf. You know, the whole thing was really like depressing and like horrible to have to deal with, but it was also like I was really terrified for my baby's health because to gain that much weight in that short a time, that's not healthy. Luckily I didn't get diabetes and I didn't get extremely high blood pressure, and my son was born and he was perfectly healthy. He was 7 pounds 12 ounces. So regardless of all the lack of nutrients and no healthy food that I was eating, he was fine. As soon as I gave birth, my sister got me a giant fruit basket because all I wanted was fruit. To come home from hospital and have this amazing big fruit basket, it was so nice, but my hyperemesis didn't go away for another 2 weeks after I gave birth, so by the time I could eat the fruit, it was all gone bad. It looked good, and I'm sure it would have been really nice. When someone has hyperemesis, the first symptom is usually weight loss. So it's rare that I didn't lose weight. It's rare that I gained weight, and it's extremely rare that I gained that much weight. It was just a weird case of hyperemesis. But when I did my research afterwards, I did find girls that went through the same journey as me and they gained like 90 to 100 pounds as well. So it's extremely rare, but yeah, it does happen. When I started gaining this weight, it wasn't something that I was used to. It wasn't something I was expecting. It was horrific. I was so worried about like, how am I gonna lose it? I'm gonna have all this excess skin. I'm never gonna be able to get in a bikini again. And luckily, amazingly, it fell off within 6 months. I'll do another video explaining how I lost the weight because that's a whole other thing. That's like, yeah, an entire video on its own. I did lose it and I got back to my normal weight, and I swore I'd never go through it again. I'd never have another pregnancy. I'd never go through 9 months of hell and torture and all this, and I did. I did it again. I now have a 5-month-old daughter, and so before that pregnancy, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure it's not the same. I did so much research. I talked to doctors. I did all these diets. I did liver cleanses, gut cleanses. I started medication immediately, and it wasn't as bad. I still was sick for 9 months, and I still had hyperemesis, and I did gain 100 pounds the second time as well, which I swore I wouldn't do, because, you know, when you're looking back, you're like, did I really have to eat that whole loaf of bread? And, you know, I'm sure I could have tricked my body by eating kind of like a healthy pizza or a low-fat pizza, or, you know, cauliflower pizza or something. So I went into it thinking, okay, even if I suffer through the same thing, I'm not going to put on that weight. But it was the same thing. It was me being so nauseous. You're not thinking about it. You're not thinking about, oh God, I shouldn't eat this. You're thinking, I need to stop the nausea. I need to eat this because I can't throw up again. I'll throw up that pill I just took and the medication won't work, and I'll have to go back into hospital for IVs. So unfortunately, my second pregnancy kind of went the same way. It definitely wasn't as bad because I'd done my research and I'd prepared myself. It's just a horrible journey, but so worth it. It was so worth it for my 2 kids. I was warned beforehand, you know, losing weight on the second isn't as easy. And it's not. So yesterday she turned 5 months old. I've lost 80 pounds and I have another 20 to go. So that's how I gained 100 pounds in my pregnancy, in 2 pregnancies. And so I wouldn't recommend it. It wasn't fun. It wasn't good. If you're watching this video because you're going through the same thing as me, all I'll say is don't worry. You do lose the weight. It does come off. And if you have hyperemesis and you're throwing up and everything, just keep in mind, just remember, it's worth it. I would 100% go through it again for my kids. Anyway, so as I said, I'll do another video explaining how I lost the weight, and I don't know, hopefully that'll help someone else that's in my position. So, okay, thanks for watching. Bye!